Okay, so just imagine a wedding, beautiful wedding, everybody's getting ready. A big hall. How many people are involved in preparing a wedding or in coming to a wedding? How many guests? There's at least, 100, 200, 300 guests.
Yeah.
But then you also have a lot of staff. You have like people that are busy, like that are not the guests, but they're there. Like there's the catering, there's a photographer, there's a lot of people involved in the wedding. There's also security, very important.
That's what Danielle, she needs the door locked.
Yeah.
She said that. She said that. Could you walk to the seat?
Yes, I am.
Remember last
We have,
time? Well, last time I walked through.
yeah, there's always people walking.
Anyways.
Anyways. Now, besides the people at the wedding, there's also people before the wedding that are busy. There's people designing the invitation. There's people doing the hair and makeup. Like, you understand, like how many people are busy. Like, there's also babysitters that might be staying home so that people can come to the wedding. Just see the ripple effect of how many people are involved with this wedding. Okay. Okay, guys, the doors are locked. Okay. Anyways, so there's many people involved in this wedding. You all agree on this. Even like, let's say, preparing the flowers in the background, preparing the food in the background, like even before the day of the wedding, like there's so many people that are involved in this thing. But sometimes we forget who are the most important people. Cakes invitation. Yeah. Sometimes there are so many people, so many things involved in the wedding that we forget the most important people of the wedding. And it's the bride and groom. Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine a crazy situation that a day before the wedding, the bride is calling off the wedding. She's like, 1 second, I think I changed. I'm not ready. Like I don't think I'm marrying her. And let's say, imagine just for a second, I know it's not going to sound right, but I need to say it to you. The groom is going to say, 1 second, there's a few hundred people coming to the wedding. There's so many people coming. There's so many people involved, so many people preparing. The bride is just one person. We can make the wedding happen with everybody else. Like most people are coming. Like we can make it happen. It's not like a big percentage of the wedding. Like it's not gonna mess up the whole wedding. But really, like, and he's like, it doesn't make sense to cancel this whole entire production, because of one person. And he's gonna tell everybody, we're continuing. We're just making it happen. Just we're gonna be missing one person at the wedding. So what's not logical in this decision? Like if you look at quantity, so yeah, the bride is just 1 out of 1,000. It's nothing. It's not important. But if you look at the whole purpose of the wedding and the whole reason of the wedding, and like, it's not about the quantity. It's about the bride and groom. Though they are the main purpose of this entire production. Okay. All the people that are working to make this happen, they're doing it for one reason, to make the bride and groom happy. Like there's like something in the center that's so important. So it's not about the quantity of how many people are involved, or it's just 1 out of 1,000, but it's, and it happens to be that if this one bride is canceling the wedding, like is not coming to the wedding, the whole thing is not happening. Like she's a very, very important part of the wedding. I like the wedding because it's going to connect very well to the concept, but just to tell you like other examples, you can have a very big game, like a sports game, and if the players are not there, it doesn't matter that there's thousands of people, there's some people that are essential, the center of everything and the goal of everything, the goal of the whole event.
Teacher here.
Yes.
Thank you. Without a teacher, there's no class, but you would be learning anyways. So today we're going to talk about a wedding, but a different, another type of wedding. We're going to talk about a wedding that has actually milliards of people involved. Okay. And it's the wedding between Hashem and the Jewish people. And really what we're going to see is that wedding, this bride and groom, it involves the entire world. Everybody, everything in the world and every human being on earth are part of making this whole production of the wedding between Hashem and the Jewish people. And we're going to see how everything is affected and everything is impacted and everything is influencing everything and how everything is connected. We're going to understand who is the bride, who is the groom properly. We're going to understand how the entire humanity and the entire universe, everybody's involved in this wedding, and how everything depends in this wedding in my actions and in your actions and in your actions. Like everything matters. Okay, that's we were finishing last week. So we learned in the chapter before, what is the purpose of creation? You all know it. It's to make a dwelling place for Hashem down here in this physical world. Now we're in the middle of a very long chapter, chapter 37. It has 5 classes, and today's class number 3. First, we saw how each one of us can make in our personal lives a dwelling place for Hashem. So I just want to share with you the PowerPoint that we saw last week, where we saw it clearly. I hope the computer will cooperate. Okay, you remember this?
Yes.
Okay.
Oops, נעלם.
No, it's coming. It's coming. Give us a few seconds.
Yeah, okay. Can you move the people? No.
I can't.
It's okay.
I know they're in the right place. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know. I don't have my screen looks different than yours. Look what my screen looks like.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't see the people at all.
No, but.
So
okay.
I can't move them. Anyway, but I do want to show you this thing. I do want to show this to you. So we learned that. So in the beginning of this chapter, in the beginning, you can sit straight ahead over there. Okay. Anyways, in the beginning of this chapter, we learned how each one of us is one entity, and each one, like when we are making ourselves, when we're making one mitzvah, we're making part of our body holy. We're doing one action, we're making part of our body. So that was the beginning of the chapter, the first thing that you see here on the top of this diagram.
What does it say? Because
it says godly revelation to an item or a body part. Okay, so that was the first part. Like the way it starts, how basically from one mitzvah we're gonna get the whole world to have Hashem revealed in the times of Mashiach. Like how is that chain effect? That's what we explained last week. So the beginning of the chapter, I'm just recapitulating to know where we are holding. The beginning of the chapter, we saw how one mitzvah makes one part of the body or one item more holy. And when we do that, we're slowly making that God is revealed we're influencing that our entire body is becoming holy. And when our entire body is becoming holy, it's influencing like all the mitzvot together, of all the people together. But basically, when I'm very holy, it's and each one is very holy, it's influencing that all the Jewish people are becoming very, very holy and having Hashem revealed inside of them. Like there's a chain effect. Now, today, what we're going to try to understand is how, when the Jewish people have, like, imagine that all the Jewish people have Hashem revealed inside of them, and all the Jewish people are doing all the 613 mitzvot, or their neshama did all the 613 mitzvot, and we're all complete, and we're all fully full of Hashem's revelation. How is that going to change the entire world to have Hashem revealed? How, when there's so few people, like, look at how many Jewish people there is in the world, and it's not just that we're going to affect all the non-Jewish people, but it's also all the items, all the millions of of objects, all the plants, all the animals, and all the things in the world, all the galaxies, like milliards of things are going to become also a dwelling place for Hashem. That's the last step, the fourth step over here. That's happening when Mashiach comes, but we need to see how our effect today is going to bring this, okay? How each mitzvah, so we explained last week how each mitzvah is bringing about that our entire body is becoming holy, and then we saw how that's making the whole Jewish nation becoming holy and receiving Hashem's dwelling inside the whole Jewish nation. And today we're going to explain how from the last step, how the Jewish nation becoming holy is going to affect the entire world. That's what we're going to, the question is, so we're going to ask a question, okay? Even if all the Jewish people are holy, how is that affecting the whole world? Like if Hashem is residing in every single Jewish person, how is that affecting the Jewish world? Like there's so many millions of things and so many millions of things. So when you look, especially when you look at a quantity, I don't even have my cursor on my screen. Okay, 1 second. Great. Okay, that worked well. Anyway, so if you look at from a quantity perspective, you see the Jewish people is like such a tiny percentage, let's say 0.01% of the entire world, okay? How can my actions and your actions influence that the entire world gonna become a dwelling place for Hashem, like, and is gonna bring redemption and a revelation in the whole world, like literally. So we need to go back to the example that we started off with the example of the wedding, okay? The whole purpose of creation of the world is for this wedding of Hashem and his complete unity and his complete union between the creator and the creations, okay? And he wants that the entire creations, everything that's created in the entire world should become a dwelling place for Hashem. That's the ultimate wedding. That's the ultimate purpose, okay? So we need to understand who the bride and groom is more specifically. So we know the groom, it's very simple, it's Hashem. The question is, who is this bride? A bride is somebody who does everything to make her husband happy, who's giving up her whole life for her husband. She's connected to him in so many levels, in so many layers. And so a nation that wants to be fully submitted to Hashem needs to do everything that Hashem wants, needs to be fully there for him completely in all levels of their lives. And then we deserve to be married to Hashem. So which nation fits that criteria of wanting to do what Hashem wants? So we know very well that we're the only the Jewish people are the only ones that said Naaseh v'nishma before receiving the Torah. We said that we're going to do it. We're happy to do everything Hashem wants. So of course it's the Jewish people. And it actually started before Matan Torah. It started with the three forefathers. They're the chariots, remember? Mm-hmm. They did everything Hashem wanted. They gave up they did everything the way Hashem wanted, completely, with all of their limbs of their body. Okay, and by Matan Torah, Hashem came and Hashem felt that the Jewish people are his bride, and the Matan Torah is considered the wedding between Hashem and the Jewish people. Actually, when we make a chuppah, a lot of the things we do between the bride and groom, a lot of the customs that we do is a reenaction of the wedding between Hashem and the Jewish people.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah, there's a lot of customs that we do. For example, we have the candles, the light.
Yeah.
Because there was lightning and thunders. Okay. Anyways, there's a lot of things that we do in the chuppah because it's the same. It's a reenaction of the wedding between Hashem and the Jewish people. Okay. Now, what is the ketubah? Ketubah is the wedding contract between Hashem and the Jewish people. What is the marriage contract? The Torah. Okay, the Torah has the 600 commandments, and it says what I want you to do in order to stay married to me. Do the 613 mitzvot, and you're my wife. Lovely. Over there, it says exactly, Hashem is expressing exactly what he wants. Okay, and those 613 mitzvot is expressing exactly what he wants from his bride to do, and the bride does it, and that's the best. Okay, that's the ultimate thing. So the main point that we need to understand now is the fact that the Jewish people, we're not here as a separation between holiness and materialism, like between spirituality and materiality. Like we're not like something in between. Our entire life of a Jewish people, of a Jewish person, our entire life is like the whole thing is the fact that we're connected, that we want to do what Hashem wants, that we have this emunah and we want to do what Hashem wants. That's who we really are. Okay, and by being that, by doing what Hashem wants, we're making a dwelling place for Hashem in this world. Okay. Now we have a bride and groom. We need to find the hall. We need to find. We also need to find guests. We also need to find all the people that are going to be doing all their jobs at the wedding. We need to find a photographer and the people that are going to serve us. So basically, the whole world is the hall, is the wedding hall, okay? And all the nations of the world, they are the guests and the servers and all the workers to help make this wedding happen, okay? Their job, okay, is to literally watch us, build for us, make the world, more advanced in order for the Jewish people to be able to use this world and make it a godly place. Like everything that's happening is enabling the main purpose to happen. They're there just to help us fulfill our purpose. So everything that so I'll give you some unbelievable example is the fact that, look, we're now actually by learning Torah, by learning about Hashem, by learning about this wedding of Hashem and us, okay, definitely this class, we're now bringing Hashem down here in this world, clearly. So who enabled us to make it? All the people that worked to plant all these tomatoes, these flowers that probably came from China, this table that was
I
the
love this table.
okay, this
Yeah,
table,
the
okay,
table
but
is
if you look at
beautiful.
all the materials that are here,
Yeah.
it's made like if you try to think for a few seconds about the background of each item that's on this table, and even this computer and all the technology
Well,
that's
they
behind
put
this
it-
computer for the Zoom, everything, and the cake, all the workers behind all these things,
Yeah.
and also it's coming from different places of the world, all the materials that
So
are
that's
here.
what you mean by making it holy, because we're doing it in the service of Hashem, then everything that's here.
What I want you to realize is that all the people in the world worked to be able to bring us to be able to do this learning.
Wow.
Okay.
So not enough, we resist, oh, 613, how am I going to do it? And never mind, the whole world is going to resist. What do you think? We are your servants? We are the workers, we are the servants.
They're not going to resist.
We are the bride
When
and the
when it's
groom, and
clear,
they're all
when it's
working
clear,
for
no,
us.
when it's clear what the purpose is, and when it's clear what Hashem that you want to make Hashem happy, when you want to make the groom happy, when you want, like a worker, like somebody, nobody's resisting. The server at the wedding is doing his job. He's happy to do it.
Believe me, they jealous, and it brings them hatred. My neighbors
Okay,
told
okay,
me,
but there's going to be no hatred when Mashiach comes. Anyways, the ideal is that everybody, the whole world is here serving us to help fulfill the purpose.
they
Okay.
have to serve
I
us.
hope you see that all the people that built like that made those cups, those plates, whatever,
Yeah, it's
all
so
the things
cool.
behind it is to make to help us fulfill this purpose of doing mitzvot, of bringing Hashem down here on this world. Everybody's enabling it. All these workers that we don't even know, and all these airplanes, whatever, there's so much going on behind it to bring everything, to bring this to happen. And it's basically all the workers that made this wedding happen between us right now and Hashem, and bringing Hashem in this world. Okay, I hope you get to see how basically the everything, whatever, that's the whole purpose of whatever, of the technology, of the whole world, of everything that's being advanced, and everything that everybody's doing in the world without realizing it. They're just helping us fulfill the main purpose of this, the bride and groom getting married. The first Rashi is the main commentary of the Torah. The first Rashi of the Torah says very clearly that the world was created for the first letter of the Torah is not Aleph, it's Bet. It starts with Bereshit, and it says that Bet is 2 because the whole world was created for the Jews and for the Torah. That's the hope. The whole entire world, everything in the world was created for one purpose. So when you look at this wedding, and I told you everything is for the bride and groom, that's literally what it is. The whole entire world is literally for this bride and groom, for the Torah.
But how do you,
for
like,
Jews.
there are are you saying like all the non-Jews will become Jews then?
No,
Like,
they're going to be
No,
serving us.
I'm your
They're gonna be,
servant.
oh. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not becoming the
They
bride.
will be
They're not becoming the bride. We're the bride. They're not, and all the
They
people
are
at the wedding, they're not the
excited.
brides. They're
Because
just
of
helping the bride.
They're
They're there to make the bride and groom happy. We're the bride.
Oh, when you walked us. Yes.
Huh?
They have many of them.
At a wedding, you have 1,000 workers, and there's one. Okay, here, yeah. So we're getting there. So actually, it says that the Jews are me'at mikol ha'amim, like we're such a minority. We're so little.
Yeah.
Okay, and still we're this little tiny people, this little amount of people that we are. We're the one that are making the ground and making and enabling, okay, this whole world to become a place for Hashem. And we're making we're making sure that the Jews are connecting with Hashem and getting married to Hashem, okay? And Rashi's commentary continues, and he says, there's the word Yom HaShishi, like the 6th day of the week. He says that the whole world, the whole fact that the world exists is dependent on the Jewish people doing Torah and mitzvot. Like it's the whole world stands on the fact that the Jewish people do Torah and mitzvot. Like we're the base, the foundation of the world, literally. Okay, because if just like I told you, if the bride doesn't want to get married with the groom, there's no wedding. The wedding is canceled. Okay, and the whole existence of the world is going to get canceled. If the Jewish people are not going to do Torah, this whole wedding, this whole world has no purpose. It's like there's no wedding, there's no world. It's the whole thing is, imagine that canceled wedding. That's what it is, literally. Okay, like it's such a perfect example, but picture that. Okay, and when actually it says that Hashem chose us as we're the chosen nation, and we're not just the chosen nation. He calls us Mamlechet Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh. That we're like the priests and we're the holy people, and it's really just the Jewish people. But why does it compare us to the priest? Because the priest has an influence. Whatever he does influences all the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Okay. And the same way we are the Jewish people, we can influence, and we're a light unto all the nations. We are such a nation that we can bring light to the whole world. Okay, we have that power. Anyways, Hashem gave it to us. We are a light unto the nations.
Yeah, but you know, honey, also the Bet HaMikdash, the windows.
The windows of the Bet HaMikdash, the light would come from would go from inside and
instead
spread
of
to
coming
outside.
inside. That's the
The Zohar, the Kabbalah says something beautiful, that the Jewish people are like the heart, they're like the neshama, and all the other nations are like all the limbs of the body. Like it's like the body. We're the neshama, and everything else is the body, enabling the neshama to fulfill what he wants. Okay, like as a comparison, but it really helps understand this. So basically, the neshama gives the energy to the whole body to do what Hashem wants, in the same way that the Jewish people gives the energy to the whole world to do what Hashem wants and to bring down Hashem down in this world. So now that we understand this, we understand that the whole world was created just for the Jewish people, and it's dependent on the Jewish people. Now we'll be able to understand that all the actions of the Jewish people together, they're gonna be influencing the entire world and all the other nations. Okay, so that's just the beginning. We'll explain soon even more. We're gonna go deeper into this. But I want to just 1 second. So what the Alter Rebbe is going to say further, he says that the world was created for the Jewish people. And that's why the world, okay, depends and is influenced by the Jewish people. But he says that the Jewish people were basically, we're going to explain this further later, but it's the whole Jewish people is divided into 600,000 souls.
Mhm.
And the whole world is basically divided. Everything in the world also has, every soul corresponds to another area of the world. Okay, and so if that one of the 600,000 souls is purified, that's something that matches it is being purified. So so the whole world, let's say, is divided into 600,000 entities, and each soul is responsible for another entity in the world. And that's how when I'm pure. So why am I saying this? Because it's not just I'm purifying that cup. When I'm purifying this cup, I'm basically purifying all the cups. Just like an example, but where do we know this concept from? It's with the korbanot, when there were sacrifices and they were purifying flour or lamb or different animals. Basically, when they were bringing one item, it was purifying and elevating all those items in the whole world. So if you would bring flour, it would purify all the flour in the world, or all the things that are inanimate in the world. Or if you would bring a certain animal, it would purify all that species of animals. Like so basically, when you do one thing spiritually, it can influence everything that it corresponds to, everything that it's meant to influence. Okay,
Where does it say?
Where does it say this?
Yeah, or it's something from the.
No. It's clearly about the korbanot. I have it here.
Just because it's news to me, but
Yeah.
nice
No, but
idea.
that's.
I know if there is a tide, and the water, it influences all the water in the world, but.
No, but it says in Tanya, it explains it more in chapter 34.
Mhm.
No, that was about Maaser. No,
It's
but
okay.
basically each type of korban purifies that type of chai tzomeach domem, like that category. That's what it is about the korbanot. I don't know what the source of it is, but also when you give tzedakah, when you give 10%, you're actually making holy all of your money through those. When you're making 10%, when you're doing a mitzvah of 10%, we're going to actually see that more in the next classes about the tzedakah. It talks about more about it. But everything that you're doing, it influences. It's basically a representative of influencing another whole category. Okay, that's what I wanted you to understand. I hope that's clear. So basically, each soul has something in the world that it's influencing.
Mhm.
Okay, another whole category in the world that's influencing. And the purpose is that each soul needs to bring more holiness in the world, and and slowly we can make, if each soul makes the whole world holy, the whole world becomes holy. So I'm going to show this to you in the words of the Tanya.
You're responsible for 600,000 souls somewhere.
We're very, very connected and responsible and everything. So to prepare it.
Wait, Robinson,
Yes.
who said, like, who was it that said that, like, the Jewish people are the neshama and the other nations are the rest of the body?
Oh, that's from the Kabbalah, from the Zohar. Zohar, Kuzari, that I have a source.
Kuzari.
Kuzari Ma'amar Bet Lamed Vav.
I want to
Okay,
learn Kuzari one day.
yeah.
You know who teaches food?
Okay, give me a second, I'm just finding
Right.
today's
Every
part.
Tuesday morning he does Kuzari.
Really?
Yeah. He
Which
does half
rabbi?
an hour Kuzari, Rabbi Crofton. He does it on
Okay.
on Zoom. To 10 a.m. You can go to class, 10 a.m. at the bite, or everything goes on to YouTube or Facebook. And then half an hour is Kuzari, then half an hour Parsha. Yeah,
Could never understand Kuzari.
it's just
completely-
showing that. He explains that. So yeah, it goes through
I'm sure.
very, very slowly. Like what Rabbi. Tanya.
Okay, here we are. Okay. For the community of Israel, comprising 600,000 particular souls, is the general source of vitality for the world as a whole, since the world was created for the sake of these souls. Each specific one of them contains, and to each is related, the vitality of 600,000
Mhm,
parts of the entire world.
mhm.
This part of the world depends on his vital soul for its elevation to God through the vital soul's own elevation. This means that one elevates his portion of the world by his partaking of this world for the requirements of his body and vital soul in the service of God. By using the objects of this world that one's body and vital soul need for the sake of serving God, one elevates his portion of the world. So you do one thing and the whole portion is elevated. You got the idea?
Yeah.
For example, eating, drinking, and the like, one's dwelling and all his utensils.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that the Jewish people have 600,000 is divided into 600,000 souls. The way it was in the and actually it corresponds to the way it was in the times of the desert. In the desert. Yeah, Mamad al-Sinai. By Har Sinai in the desert, there were 600,000 people, and it corresponds to 600,000 souls. Now, the Kabbalah explains that really the 600,000 souls, they originate in six character traits of God. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So every Jew has a neshama. Listen to me carefully, because there's going to be multiplications over here,
mhm.
just to understand how many different types you can have. Anyway, every Jew has a neshama, and the neshama is always a part of Hashem. Okay, is a part of Hashem, and every Jew is an expression of Hashem in this world. Now Hashem has he has seven character traits, but the first six, Chesed, Gvurat, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Okay, so each neshama comes from those six, but each one comes from a different combination of those six. Okay,
Like we do in Sfirat HaOmer, and we say
exactly,
that-
yeah. But it goes even. It's going to be divided. It's going to go into a stronger combination. Hold on a second.
Mhm.
Anyway, so basically, so first there's six. It starts with six types of neshamot, but then there can be a lot of different and then it continues, and then it goes into more combinations and more combinations. But at the end of the game, each one has one dominant. For example, Hillel dominant was Chesed, and Shammai dominant was Gvura.
Mhm.
Okay, so they originate in those
Parts
parts of Hashem's soul. Okay, now, so each one of us belongs dominantly into one soul, but the question is, if it starts at six, how did it get to 600,000? Like, if there's six different types, why 600,000? So I'll give you an example. Take colors. There's three primary colors,
Mhm.
and how many colors can you make out of those three primary colors?
Many.
Infinite colors. Okay, that works. So the same thing, we have the primary colors, the primary character traits, there's 6. And then you can have 600,000 combinations of it.
That's
Okay,
understandable.
understandable, okay. Then it goes further. Kabbalah explains that there's a concept called hitkalolut. Anyway, the idea is that basically each one of the 600,000 can be even more, can have even more combinations, 10 times more,
You
okay?
know something easy?
It can be, yeah.
Every face has 2 eyes, a nose, 2 nostrils.
Exactly,
But they are not.
but in
two
the end of the
faces
game, there's
same.
milliards of people that have another combination.
Yeah.
That's where we're going, okay? So basically you take those 6
Basic.
basic, and then you divide that, you multiply that into 10, you have 60 anyways, and then you multiply that into 10 more. You can have already, even the base can have a lot of combinations. Anyways, bottom line, we go to a very unlimited amount of different types of souls, and each one accomplishes something else in this world, okay? And each one has another role and another character trait and also, by the way, our mission corresponds to our personality. Okay, it's a very important part. Anyway, something very cool is that it's in the name of Hashem, we see this whole combination of how many times everything can be multiplied. The name of Hashem is Hey Yud K Vav K. Hey is 5, okay.
You understand?
The 6, the Vav is 6 for the 6 character traits. 10 is the concept of multiplying by 10 according to the Kabbalah. And then you have, and everything is multiplied by 5, the number 5. Anyways, that's how you get 600,000, whatever, an unlimited number, because why the 5 is because it's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. That's how you get to 600,000. It's like, you know, the 5 that goes on top. How's that called in English?
Power.
Yeah, power.
Yeah, power.
So the 5 is the power.
But
Okay.
doesn't it say b'shishim
That's what
bo yatsu?
So we're going to the Shishimir Boy. Sheshmot, yeah, there's
Yeah.
600,000.
Yeah.
Anyways, we know that there's 600,000.
Shivim bo yatsu shishim.
And then it multiplies and multiplies. Okay. The question is, we're talking about 600,000, but isn't there more than 600,000 Jews? So, okay. So basically those 600 themselves are still like the root. And even that further, it goes, then there's like even more branches and it multiplies even more to an unbelievable amount of, to a milliard, like in our words, it's basically there's milliards of different types of combinations of different types of Jews, okay? Just like there's milliards of cells in our body, okay? That's how the world is composed of milliards of different types of people. So all the millions of Jews throughout the whole Jewish history are really all the Jews together. They're all parts and sparks and cells of the original 600,000 Jews that came out of Egypt and that were at Matan Torah. Okay, so we're all part of the same thing, but we're all a lot of different parts. To conclude this whole concept that you understand that there's millions of people and we're all coming from the same 6 character traits and from the same 600,000 Jews that were at Mount Sinai, we understand that every single Jew is unique. Every single Jew has a combination that no one else has something else to give to the world, has something else, and
It's like a puzzle.
we spoke last week about how each one is necessary, but we're seeing even deeper how each one has an influencing the entire world also. And anyways, since we just explained that every single thing is influencing another whole area in the world, so every single one of the 600,000 souls divided by the milliards of Jews that we are, or the millions of Jews that we are throughout all generations, each one is responsible for another part of the world. Okay, so that's how we're influencing the entire world. Okay, like everything is like calculated and everything is planned, and every little detail is important. Okay, so I'm gonna show this to you in the Tanya, how the Alter Rebbe explains that those 600,000 souls are really the roots, and from each one of them there's another 600,000 sparks that come out, and then they're all and they actually, he says that they correspond to the different parts parts of the world, like the wind, the water, like different parts, different parcels and parcels, and also they all correspond to the 4 different worlds. You know, like we have the worlds of formation where we're here, like Bria, but there's also Yetzira, and there's the Atzilut, whatever. There's the higher worlds. There's 4. The whole world is managed to 4 worlds. So everything corresponds to a different part of the world. Every neshama corresponds to a different part of the world. So let me just show that to you. Okay, these 600,000 particular souls, however, are roots. And like a root from which grows numerous branches, each root soul subdivides into 600,000 sparks, each spark being one neshama. Similarly, with the nefesh and ruach, in each of the 4 worlds, Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, in each of these 4 worlds are found all 3 soul levels, nefesh, ruach, neshama. Okay, that's why I told you there's different parts. And okay,
What does it mean?
no, we're going later to this.
It's part did not.
Yeah, no, because it's lo ela bishvil. We'll talk about it soon.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we understood that the 6 first character traits of Hashem, they are subdivided, okay, into all. They are all like split, and they all exist into all the sparks of all the souls in the whole world. Okay, so we're gonna go back to a question that we asked a few chapters earlier: is why did the neshama come down in this world? Okay, we learned that the neshama comes down into a body. Okay, it's like a very, very big descent. The neshama is so happy up there. Why does the neshama have to come down to a body? Like the neshama is a part of Hashem. The neshama is a root of Hashem. Over there, it's the neshama expresses itself its best. Why does neshama have to come down here into a body that's exactly the opposite of it? The body that doesn't want the neshama to fulfill what it wants, a body that's attracted to this world. Why does the neshama have to come down all the way down here so low? And it goes even, it's even more so by a tzaddik. Okay, like a tzaddik, like he wants to stay up there, like he has nothing to do in this world. Like, why does he have to come down in this world? Okay.
You mean like tzaddikim, like the 36 that come in every generation?
Yeah, tzaddik gamur. We said there's only 36 years.
So like, let's say, because he's a pillar. If not, he's not coming, the world will collapse.
Okay, so
that's what I understood. Maybe I'm mistaken completely, who knows?
Yeah, the question is why do all these people, why do all these neshamot of tzaddikim, of not tzaddikim, all have to come down in this world?
Because
especially that they're okay. So we're getting there. I just want to remind you to bring like a new perspective to this, a very fascinating perspective. We're going to learn something new now. So this world is completely contrary to what a neshama needs, right? Like there's the world, we're attracted to food, to money, to all kinds of things. Okay. And we don't even spend time on making the neshama happy. Like this world is like not even making the neshama happy. It's like attracted to so many other things. So he said, and the Alter Rebbe explains how for a neshama to come down into a body, it's like going into complete exile. Like it's complete galut. Like not just that, he was saying that it's in captivity. Like it can't express itself. Okay, so why did the neshama come down for anyone? And when you look at it, and you're looking at so many different types of neshamot, okay, some of them come from the world of Atzilut, from a world that's so close to Hashem. Why did Hashem have to make a Jewish people down here in this world? What's the point of bringing the neshamot down here in this world? So the famous thing that we know, and then we're going to learn something new about the fact that the neshama comes down in this world is because something was missing in the neshama. There was some tikkun that needed to happen. The neshama wasn't perfect. It comes down on this world to do a mitzvah, to correct the neshama and make the neshama a better place. So the neshama comes to fix itself. The neshama needs to be fixed, so that's why it comes in this world.
That you can do the work only by being in a
by
body.
being in a body, right? That's what we know, right?
Yeah.
That's the famous thing. But and And the rabbis talk about it, that the neshama comes here because it needs a tikkun and we need to fix it, etc. But there's a big problem with this approach, because if you think of it, a neshama is a part of Hashem itself. Can you say that is not perfect? A piece of Hashem is not perfect and needs a tikkun. Like, it's a piece of Hashem. It's a perfect thing. It's something that wants, and neshama wants to do what Hashem wants, and neshama is a piece of Hashem. Why say that something's missing to the neshama and had to come down here in this world? So something's a little
I
off.
feel like it's more like when the 600,000 souls, I feel like it's more to do with the souls that were here previously, like.
Right, so that's the concept. So that's the same concept that is the famous concept, is that neshama comes because the neshama came previously and didn't finish its job, and it needs to come and do more. But we're going to see here something fascinating and new that the Alter Rebbe is telling us. He says that the neshama does not need a tikkun.
Oh.
The whole reason the neshama comes down in this world and comes into a body is to fix the world. To
Yeah,
fix the
like
body.
all those servants that are going to prepare a wedding.
The neshama comes in this
How can
world
they do it without
so that the world gets fixed. Okay,
They have nothing to
so
do.
why did the neshama come down? Why did the neshama come down? To fulfill the purpose of making Hashem, to making a dwelling place for Hashem. Again, what, in simple words, why did the neshama come down? To make Hashem a dwelling place down here in this world. To make this world ready for Hashem, to help make this place a world ready for Hashem. And that's the big challenge of the neshama, to bring holiness. He's coming down from a holy place. He's holy. And he's coming down in a place completely the opposite. Neshama is so holy. He only wants to do what Hashem wants. And you put him in a body that's saying, no, let's eat, let's make some money, let's go have some fun. And just wants, and also from the second that body is born, the baby is born, all he wants is to survive. He's right away crying. He's right away asking for food. Like that's what we do in this world. Okay, the second we come down here, we just want to try and breathe, try and look at the world, and right away we have this ego coming up and saying, what do I want? What do I need? Like it's suddenly like the neshama is gone, and it's all about the body and all about the selfish needs, and all of a sudden, like, you know, the animalistic soul is showing up very, very strongly. So the neshama has a very big challenge over here. He needs to purify and make holy this body. He's coming to the body and saying, you body, I'm going to make you holy. How it's very, very, very hard. So he's going to do it in steps. Okay. You do it slowly. Okay. And actually we see that throughout life, a child, as he becomes older, especially if you're in the right environment, the neshama slowly expresses itself more and more, even by a regular person. I'm saying you're more about your physical need, but you're less about your physical need and more about your spiritual needs. Like as we grow up, we're looking for more spirituality. That's why we're here. Like I'm saying, we're seeing that there's something else in this world than just this physical survival. And then we also work on our character traits. We're like, you know, we're starting to make ourselves more purified and less, you know, selfish, and try to help others. And that's how slowly the neshama is purifying the body. That's what he's doing. And the body is learning to, and whatever the neshama is teaching the body, to use it to do holy things, to bring Hashem in this world, etc. So in that way, when the person does that, the neshama does its purpose of coming down in this world to create a dwelling place for Hashem down here in this world. At the same time, it's very dangerous for the neshama to come down in this world, because sometimes the body is not going to cooperate. The body can say, no, neshama, goodbye. I'm taking you to my job and to my business and to my fun stuff. Like, I'm not interested in what you're doing. I actually want to do some things that are forbidden. I'm going to take you to the shalosh klipot atmeot. I'm going to take you to the, to the things that are not allowed. And then I'm going to impurify you, and then the person makes the neshama the opposite effect. But because of that opposite effect, that's why Hashem started the world with bringing the neshamot of the 3 forefathers. They came here to bring holiness into the body. And that's why we have it in our DNA physically, that we have a part of us that wants to do what Hashem wants. Remember, we spoke about it? We have it, that we want to do what Hashem wants. We're not complete. Hashem helped us, manage this neshama and not be completely against the neshama and try and work with it. And that's why this 600,000 souls, even if they were already perfect, you know, in the highest world of Atzilut, they came down in this world. They came down in the lowest world during the times where the Jews were not practicing or when, to help them and to bring them some more holiness and to bring some more sparks of holiness to teach them and to make them more purified and help them do more mitzvot and help them, you know, do what they have to. Okay. And that's why we came down in this world. We have challenges, but because the goal is to purify those challenges, to purify those this physical world. Okay, that's the whole purpose. One second. So I want to share with you a story about, you know, that even a tzaddik that is so perfect, even he sometimes, you know, you think maybe he doesn't need to come down here in this world, but he also sometimes is not actually 100% perfect, and his body sometimes can overcome the neshama. So I'm going to share with you a story how even by a tzaddik, even by a very holy person, or not a tzaddik gamur from the 36, but holy, like special, like good people, very, very big people, very big tzaddikim, that even them, we see that they have a job down here in this world to purify the neshama, like, and it's hard for them. So the Baal Shem Tov used to bring, he loved bringing closer to Judaism all the Jews, even the simple Jews, not just the people that were following him, the religious Jews, but even the very simple Jews. He actually was the first that did that. That was like bringing Torah to simple Jews. He's famous for that. And he was bringing them every Shabbat to his house, inviting them. And the actual students of the Baal Shem Tov were not at peace with it. They were wondering, like, why is he wasting his time, you know, and spending time on people that are so simple and that can't get anywhere? Like, he should spend time with us. We want to learn. They didn't really understand this concept. Anyway, one day, he had guests, and those simple Jews, and those Jews actually, after they left the meal, they went to the synagogue, and over there they were saying Tehillim very beautifully. The simple Jews went to the synagogue and said Tehillim very beautifully. And anyway, the Baal Shem Tov realized that some of his students were like doubting him about him spending time with the simple Jews. So he started telling them how simple Jews have a big like they're very special people, and you should listen. If you listen by the window, you'll hear them saying Tehillim. They actually have a lot of potential, and we're able to bring them closer. Whatever he explained to them. And one of the students that was there was the Maggid of Mezrich. He's also a very, like, he became the Rebbe after, one of the Rebbe, like, yeah, he was actually the Rebbe after. And he was a very, very big student of the Baal Shem Tov, and he felt bad that he was doubting his rabbi, that he was doubting the Baal Shem Tov for bringing closer simple Jews. And it was really bothering him. And to the point that at night, he one day saw, like he had this like vision of seeing little children learning Torah with Moshe Rabbeinu. And one of the children read like in his vision, he saw one of the children reading a pasuk that said that Abraham fell, basically when he was announced that he's going to have a child, he was laughing. And that's why he called his, Abraham was 99 years old. His wife was 90 years old, and they were told they're going to have a child. And he was laughing. And Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the children, you know what? Even Abraham laughed. You're going to ask why Abraham didn't just trust Hashem and he laughed? It's because Abraham also had a body. Abraham also was realizing that something's it's funny, it doesn't make sense to have a child at 99 years old. Something's funny. So even for a moment, even Abraham was laughing about it. And when the Maggid saw this in his vision, he's like, oh, okay, so I'm okay. I was also doubting my Rebbe, about, to doubt what he was doing. So, and he felt much better about it. Whoops, a second. My battery is
Sarah
all
doubted
on
in her heart, but
Okay.
God can hear
here.
that.
Okay, good.
She didn't express it.
Okay, sorry, my battery.
Yeah,
I thought
but
I saw her last.
Yeah, but she didn't express it. But anyhow, the name.
Anyway.
Yitzhak was given by God.
So basically, every neshama has something has some, like comes down in this world and has something to do in this world. That's the point. So we're going to see now the last part for today in the Tanya, how the Alter Rebbe explains the reason why a neshama comes down into a body, and he explains that even though there's a huge gap between the neshama and the body, like the neshama wants to do what Hashem wants, the body comes down into such a low place. There's a massive gap. He says there's not even a value to express this gap, you know. And he says the neshama comes down only to fix the body and to fix the animalistic soul and the part of the world that belongs to it. Because when you fix one thing, you're fixing something that corresponds to it, like a whole area, a chain reaction. And basically the neshama comes to basically help the neshama not do those 365 forbidden things, to purify those parts of the body, and to do all those 248 positive things to bring more holiness into the body. And he finishes to say that the neshama comes down into a body, and the Shekhinah came. He's going to talk about the fact that when the neshama comes down into a body, it comes to like captivity. It's like in such a terrible place, so you have to be very careful. But there's all a purpose for it, and even the fact that Hashem is in this world right now, it's also a type of captivity, a type of galut. But the actual neshama does not need a tikkun. Like the actual neshama brings to fix everything else in the world. Okay, the actual neshama is a part of Hashem. Okay, so that's what I want to show you.
So that's like your mission, and you think that's like your mission in the world.
Yeah, to fix other people.
Yeah, it has a mission, but not to fix itself, but to fix the person. Okay, so each spark did not descend into this world. Look at this. Each spark did not descend into this world to perfect itself, but to perfect the body and vital soul, as the Alter Rebbe will soon conclude. Though it is needed a great descent, a veritable exile for the soul. For even if it becomes in this world a perfect tzaddik, serving God with fear and delighting in an abounding love of Him, it will not attain to the quality of its attachment to God with fear and love that the soul experienced prior to its descent into the corporeal world. Like he says, like it was so perfect over there. Like you can't get to that level over here prior to descent into the corporeal world, nor even to a fraction of it. In fact, there is no comparison or similarity whatsoever between them, between the love and fear of God expressed by a soul on earth and that of the soul above. For as is obvious to every intelligent man, the body could not bear a love and fear of such intensity as the soul experienced above in this spiritual realm. Okay, so there's a huge difference between the soul up there and when the soul comes down here in the body. But its descent into this world to be clothed in a body and vital soul is for the sole purpose of perfecting them, to separate them from the evil of the three impure klipot by observing the 365 prohibition and their offshoots, by observing the biblical and rabbinic prohibition, and to elevate his vital soul together with the portion of this world at large that relates to it, binding and uniting them with the Ein Sof light, which draws into them by performing all the 248 positive mitzvot to the agency of the vital soul. Since the vital soul is the one that performs all mitzvot involving actions, as explained above in chapter 36, that the divine soul can activate the body and performance of the mitzvot only by way of the vital soul. It is likewise written in its time that the divine soul itself does not need perfecting at all. And there is no need for it to be embodied in this world in a body and vital soul, except to draw down light to perfect them. To perfect what? The vital soul and the body. And this parallels exactly the mystery of the exile of the Shekhinah, Galut HaShekhinah, whose purpose is to refine the sparks of holiness which fell into the klipot. So too does the divine soul enter into exile with the body and vital soul in order to perfect them and to extract from them the sparks of holiness which they contain. Okay.
So like I heard somewhere that women don't have to come, really, they can do the correction up there, but who's going to give birth to all those people?
There's mitzvot that only women can do, by the way. There's mitzvot for women, mitzvot for men. Everybody has a purpose. And if we came here, it's because there's a reason. I don't know where you heard this. Okay. So I'm going to summarize and conclude. So what we learned today is that the world was created for the sole purpose of the Jewish people. And the Jewish people are basically the soul of the whole world. There's 600,000 basic, like root souls. And that were when they came out of Egypt, okay? And each one is subcategorized into 600,000 sparks. And those are all the, and if you multiply all that, those are all the souls that are from all the generations of all the Jewish people. Each one of the Jewish people has a corresponding part in this world. So when he's purifying himself, he's purifying the corresponding part in this world. So when this person does mitzvot, he is also purifying and bringing Hashem down in this world in that area, in a specific area that corresponds to it. And when all the Jewish people are going to become holy and bring Hashem down in themselves, at the same time, the entire world is going to also become holy. Hope you saw the chain effect. And the neshama itself is perfect and doesn't come down here for tikkun. The whole reason that the neshama comes down in this world is to perfect the body, to perfect things around it, okay, and to fix and to bring holiness into the body and to fix things in this world. So last week we spoke about the importance of each action, okay, and now we're learning the importance of every single Jew. Like in the end of the game, every single Jew has a huge part to make the whole world purified, to make the whole world ready for Hashem. The world was created for the Jewish people, and the actions of the Jewish people have an impact and an influence on the whole world, okay? Especially that we know that there's 600,000 souls and each one of them corresponds to another part, okay? Another thing I wanted to show you is, 1 second, it's in my PowerPoint, very cute, is Yisrael. We're Jewish people. It's Israel, soul of the Jewish people.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, this is very nice.
I remember.
So the word Israel is the acronym of Yesh Shishim Ribo Otziot LaTorah. So it's the acronym of the fact that there's 600,000 letters in the Torah. Okay, and each one of the letters in the Torah correspond to another Jew. That's why when we own a letter in the Torah, we're part of the Torah altogether. So every letter in the Torah is very, very important. If you're missing one letter in the Torah, the whole Torah is void. So every human being really counts and really matters, okay, and counts for the Torah, for the whole people to be kosher. So the whole Jewish people depends on the action of every single Jew, and that should bring us the feeling of realizing how important. Two things. Number one, how important each one of us are in contributing to this world, and also the responsibility that we each have. If I say I don't care about what I do, then, the whole boat, we spoke last week, can
I
sink.
love that. That was such a good
Yeah.
one. I just feel like.
But I'm saying, but here we see that it's like such a responsibility. I need to do my part. I must, my neshama came in this world for me to do my part in purifying the sparks of a certain sparks of the world, okay? So it's a responsibility, it's an importance, and so we understood so we learned all about the purpose of the world's creation, that is to bring down a dwelling place for Hashem down here in this world. We know who is supposed to do it. It's the Jewish people, but how? By doing Torah, by learning Torah and doing mitzvot. Then we're going to learn how. We're going to, in the next class, we're going to, like in the next 2 classes to finish this chapter, we're going to understand how this whole concept of a dwelling place down here in this world is going to renew the whole relationship between our thought and action. Like it should affect the way we behave and the way we learn Torah, the way we do mitzvot. And we're going to also see an amazing class about we're going to learn next week is the secret of the power of tzedakah. Okay, like
Mhm.
it's in life, like not tzedakah, the secret of power of money, because money holds in it all of our energy. So money has so much energy to it, and our whole world is around money, and it's going to take us to the mitzvah of tzedakah. But how powerful money is, like as much as we say it's, it's from the attractions of the world, but it's not. It's really Hashem made everything for a purpose.